eyewitnesses. Craig Bartmer, who heard the explosions, NYPD. We have Kevin McPadden, who heard the countdown for the building. With Building 7, We Are Change every Saturday stands on the ground where Building 7, the old Building 7, used to stand. There's already a new building there. Okay, they already have built a new Building 7, and yet there's still no proper family memorial. There's a retail store up the block that sells memorabilia, but there's still no proper memorial, yet the majority of Americans do not know about the Solomon Brothers building. That was the name of the building. Do not know that it was part of the World Trade Center complex because it was north of the complex. And it came down at nearly free fall speed directly into stone footprint. Nobody was allowed to go near it. The investigation team wasn't even allowed to go near it. It was the first building that was cleaned up, and was cleaned up within weeks.
And it's where the CIA and FBI and everybody else was based, and the city, state, and county command center. Let's get Bob McIlvaine, who lost his son's, take on this.
Well, Alex, Manny and Ted Walters, they've been doing so much work on this, and I personally, since this all began, and any parent, I don't know if you know anyone that's lost a child, but my whole investigation, of course, is what happened that day. And I personally feel that, the United States orchestrated this whole event. But what's so important about Building 7, and I think the other two buildings have to be talked about also, because my son didn't work at the towers. He was supposed to go up the 106th floor. But anyway, I've spent years investigating, and every parent wants to know, did your child go through any pain? And I finally was able to sit down with the doctor who found his body, looked at his body, and he was brought into the morgue that day. So it took me years to finally find the doctor. But why I'm so connected to Building 7 and the other buildings is I found out my son walked into the lobby of Tower 1. Could have been before the plane hit or right at the plane, but he died instantly, and it was like a big shotgun blast to him, and to the chest and the face. And people, skeptics will say, well, it was because the fire came down the lobby and it blew out, but he had postmortem burns. So there was a huge explosion in the lobby. It wasn't caused by fire. So he died from an explosion. And we hear about the explosions going on in Tower 7, the explosions in the South Tower, the explosions in the North Tower. And, of course, the commission never spoke of that.
And we've got firemen and police and janitors and witnesses about boom, boom, bombs going off everywhere.
Correct. And I can prove beyond a reasonable, this is how my son died. So he was murdered. And it wasn't because of the plane hitting the north. He was walking into the North Tower. It wasn't because of fire. It wasn't because the building came down, because he would have called me. He died instantly. He might have died right before the plane hit or right after the plane hit, because all his injuries were to his face and chest. So he didn't know what hit him. He didn't run. If the plane would have hit, he would have run. So he definitely died from an explosion. So this is why it's so important to me, because I want closure on how my son was killed or murdered. And I've been lied to since September 11th, 2001, when they had the story orchestrated for us. And this is what I'm saying. So this is why the Building 7, but the other two buildings are very important, because it's these explosions. Where did these explosions come from? Well, they didn't come from the fire. Specifically in the South Tower, how the plane hits the corner of the building. Most of the explosions outside. And that tower comes down before the North Tower. Well, that's impossible.
Well, we also have the firemen on video saying the fires were almost out in the North and South Tower, but that there was like molten lava, like a foundry, like a volcano, and jet fuel can't do that. It can weaken steel, but it can't turn it into lava.
It's impossible. I mean, we're talking about impossibilities. And then, of course, Tower 7, it wasn't hit. So all these things, and it's just, finally we're, hopefully getting somewhere that people in New York City, and it's important people in New York City, that these things were impossible, that they could possibly happen like they did. So it's...
what do you think of Glenn Beck saying he hates the victims' families and that they're...
I don't even want to talk about Glenn Beck. I don't want to talk about anybody on TV. He's an idiot. He's there to make money. He's a clown.
Well, I mean, my point is he's going there to stand at ground zero like he's a hero, but we have all these tapes of him saying there's no one he hates more than the 9/11 victims. I don't know why he's...
I would put it to him. I'd put it to anyone. I wish he could say that in front of my face. Come to my door and say that. Then see what kind of guts he has to do that.
I just thought I'd bring up that sickening hypocrisy, and they won't give the heroes medical care. They just want to wrap themselves in the American flag and their heroism. Stay there, sir.
When you hear the words water purification, what comes to mind? If it's Berkey Water Purification Systems, this message is for you. Did you know that over 60% of municipal water contains fluoride at less than 2 cents per gallon? Berkey water filters purify treated and untreated water, remove dangerous chlorine, fluoride, and contaminants from municipal water. These filters are powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water, making them perfect for rainwater collection systems. From the smallest to the largest systems, BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com has what you need. With your system purchase, you'll receive a shower filter, a fluoride filter, or 2 sport Berkey bottles absolutely free. BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com would like to offer GCN listeners 5% off all ceramic filter systems and ship all orders over $50 free of charge. Visit BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. Or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY today.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty Films.
This is not a drill.
Repeat.
This is not a drill.
Gun sales are on a staggering pace.
Gun prices are going through the roof, and that means desperate, vicious criminals now want your guns
and will do anything to get them.
Now, a new book reveals powerful secrets for hiding your guns from thieves and looters. You'll learn step-by-step, battle-hardened techniques, where to hide your guns so criminals will never find them,
how to create the perfect hiding place,
as well as the places you should never hide your guns.
Under any circumstance.
These and other closely guarded gun caching secrets are guaranteed to keep your weapons safe and out of sight when the going gets tough.
But listen up.
For security reasons, the Hide Your Guns book and even the website may disappear without warning at any time. Go to hideyourguns.com.
That's hideyourguns.com.
Or call 877-327-0365.
Before they come for your guns.
Hideyourguns.com right now. Right now.
Attention, this is a special alert to all Americans who owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from people who owe back taxes and dramatically lowering amounts owed. Due to the financial crisis in America, the IRS has announced a leniency plan in recognition of consumers' financial troubles in today's economy. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, an open phone line has been established by American Tax Settlement for you to call and see if you qualify for a reduction by up to 75%. Number to call is 800-902-6969. Again, the IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers who owe back taxes in response to the decline in today's economy. If you are struggling with $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, you now may be eligible for a dramatic reduction by up to 75% and save thousands of dollars. For free information and to see if you qualify, call the open phone line into American Tax Settlement now. 800-902-6969. 800-902-6969. Again, 800-902-6969.
Yeah, I'm sorry for even bringing up Lindbeck. I don't even like to bash the guy. It's just there's all these audio tapes of him on the radio going, there's nobody I hate more than 9/11 victims' families. Always whining, complaining. And then I saw New York Post saying, oh, it's ambulance chasers that want medical care when all the hospitals say they're dead and dying and full of asbestos. I mean, they're now going to do that to the people with the core exit. But that's another issue. We need to explain the attacks, or they'll keep using the attacks to get more power, and they may stage more attacks. So I want to play and premiere this TV ad for the first time here for everybody. Here is the new ad that's going to be airing around the country.
I lost my son.
My nephew.
My uncle.
My son.
On September 11th, 2001.
Most people don't know that a third tower fell on September 11th.
World Trade Center 7, a 47-story skyscraper, was not hit by a plane.
Although the official explanation is that fire brought down Building 7.
Over 1,200 architects and engineers have looked into the evidence
and believe there is more to the story.
Bring justice to my son.
My uncle.
My nephew.
My son.
And thousands of others who died on September 11th.
Go to BuildingWhat.org.
BuildingWhat.org. But I think it is actually, maybe I should retract my apology. I just don't like to hurt people's feelings, to point out that the victims' families are being demonized. Manny, Badillo, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's completely, it's awful how we're being treated in the media. We're not only being demonized by the likes of those shills that are on corporate TV. We're being, in the city of New York, like I said, we still don't have a memorial. We're being used as pawns in the latest propaganda game that they're putting out there, this community center issue in downtown Manhattan. They're pitching us one against the other. They're causing this disturbance to ferment fear and hatred, throughout the country, based on the lies that we were told. My uncle was murdered close to 9 years ago. My family has never been the same. I lost both my grandparents shortly thereafter, and I'm going to tell you, we need this information to get into the hands and for the majority of people in this country to realize that there is a huge component to the event that we don't know about. Even down at Ground Zero, the little tiny, memorials that they have there, they don't even show Building 7 as part of the original complex. I mean, this is propaganda, unbelievable. We're talking.
Well, that's why I raised the point, is that they're grandstanding down there for more wars and all this, using the attacks while blocking aid to the families and to the emergency workers, while demonizing the emergency workers. I mean, Bob, the reason I raise this is it just shows how sick these people are.
Well, I could care less, to tell you the truth. I mean, just for me, I feel bad for family members that want to speak, to the truth. But, I've given out, I've asked many of these people going back a rally, to have me on the show. I just wish any human being could prove to me that I'm wrong so I can move on with my life, but I can't move on with my life. So I have one job in life right now, of course, to take care of my grandchildren. I have grandchildren now, but it's to prove how my son was murdered. And I have done that. I might die tomorrow. We talk about new investigation. Well, I can't care about a new investigation. I want it. I wish it could happen tomorrow, but I could be dead tomorrow. So it's so important, great people like you that invite me on the show that I can at least express my views. People 100 years from now will know that this is what I had said. And that's so important to me. That's why I just can't get involved in Beck and Hannity.
No, I understand. It just shows how low they are to demonize the emergency workers and support the Republican Party. That's who's mainly doing it, blocking aid, but some Democrats as well, for the emergency workers, and then calling them ambulance chasers. And then the families aren't asking for anything but a new investigation, and they call you scum when you lost. I mean, it's just, it's over the top. I can't believe how...
Well, Alex, governments are like that. I mean, blame the government. It's constantly creating the strategy of tension, and that's worldwide. And there it stops people from focusing on what should be focused on. It's what the whole mosque is all about, or the community center. Everything's about that. We have all these issues. That's why I hate to get involved in that issue.
Okay, so tell us where the ad's going to be airing, and also people can donate on the site to get the ad to air more places.
Well, it's going to go through New York City. Of course, that's the place we want, because because we have talked to people of New York City, have talked to counselors and everyone throughout New York City, and hopefully the investigation will be in New York City. This is the whole purpose of it. and they can send it to BuildingWhat.org. I think that's where the donations go.
BuildingWhat.org. All right, we're going to come back for about 10 minutes with you guys. You've got the floor on other issues you want to cover, Bob McIlvaine and Manny Badillo. I'm Alex.